Hi, everyone. How is everybody doing? Happy Friday. Welcome to the weekend episode of VCTV, which is the Venture Capital TV from LATOKEN. I'm very excited, be it Monday or a Friday. Friday, I'm more excited. I'm ending the week on a very good note, summarizing everything we discussed about the week, what's happened in the industry, in the sector, and 2020, what happened, sort of is a very unusual year for all of us, as we know. So we just like to discuss what happened this year. Today we're going to talk about insurance, InsurTech. We're going to cover all the sectors that touches insurance and the technology aspect of insurance as well. So today we have all regular speakers, and thank you so much for joining back on VCTV on the Friday, and committing your time. We have people from India, we have people from US and the Caribbean. I mean, yes, we are a global platform. So this platform, VCTV, was born in February 2020 in light of the coronavirus pandemic, when we couldn't meet each other in person, because obviously we host conferences all over the world under the banner of Blockchain Economic Forum. That sort of stopped. We were about to go to US, we were about to go to Latin America. That sort of didn't happen because of the pandemic. But however, right now, I can talk to somebody in Miami, in Caribbean, the island, sorry, tell you from, and India and Singapore. We are all coming together into one time zone. That's amazing. I mean, this is the beauty about the technology that we have in place, because of this, we are able to stay connected and still do our work. Even I think some of us are even more efficient in terms of the work that we are doing right now. So great. So before I start the show, the speakers, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Sunny Mohanty. I'm the Regional Director of LATOKEN. I'm based here in Singapore. I host these shows every day, Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. Singapore. It's a fixed timing. And I love VCTV because I love my speakers. I always want to know more from all of you. That's why I'm here. So today I'd like to start with the introduction. First, I see Anuj on my Zoom lobby. Hi, Anuj. Welcome back to VCTV. How are you today?
Thanks, Annie. Pleasure to be back. Good to be back 30 minutes later on another episode. Introducing myself, I'm an entrepreneur. I've started 3 startups in the past. Presently working as the founder for Yellow Sapphire Technologies and Atotum. Along with it, I am an international partner at World Business Angel Forum, which is a G20 initiative to promote global financial inclusivity and to promote entrepreneurship across the world. I also work closely with iAngels in Israel and with a venture family fund based out of Buffalo, New York.
Interesting. Oh, you're going to be leaving us in 30 minutes? All right, no worries. We'll definitely have you back again. Next, I see Anil. Hi, Anil. Welcome back. How's the traffic in Mumbai?
Hey, Sony, it's always crazy. What has happened because of pandemic, the public transport in Mumbai has collapsed. So it's still not fully functional.
Right.
And we are more dependent on private cars. So you can imagine, right? So number of cars have increased on road. So it's very crazy. And city is undergoing change. So we have double problem. So anyway, managing.
Right. Yeah, we have to. I've heard about Bangalore as well, the same story.
Good.
Yeah, please help introduce yourself for
so thanks, Sony, for having me. I am Anil Joshi, based out of Mumbai, run a fund called Unicorn India Ventures. We are in our 3rd fund. We are tech focused. 2 funds are in India and 1 in UK, which is a cross border. In all, we have a portfolio of 30 companies, so 7 in UK and rest in India. And we're fairly diversified, but the central theme of fund is to invest in tech enabled businesses. And as a first check, we do anywhere around $500,000 to $1 million, and then as company grow, we go up to 6 to 8 mil. And we have, I think, fairly decent exposure on InsurTech as well. I think we have 2 companies in InsurTech.
Great, absolutely. That's the whole point. We would like to know your insights about those startups that you hold under your portfolio. Thank you so much and welcome back, Anil. Next, I have Telly from St. Kitts. Hi, Telly. Welcome back. Happy Friday. How are you?
I'm good. It's Friday. Thanks for having me back on the show. So I'm Telly Onu. I'm also a serial entrepreneur. I'm a co-founder for Beyond Capital Markets, which is a digital asset management firm focused on building digital financial market infrastructure. Also co-founder for an virtual incubator called a fintech incubator called Pearl House Labs. I sit on a number of different things. I have a foundation that's also focused on ecosystem development and innovation. I'm also part of the World Business Forum, Angel Forum, and I guess the Senator for St. Kitts and Nevis, and a number of other things. My interest, I'm interested in blockchain. Oh, yeah, I am also the head of governance and execution for a new protocol on the market called Bantu Blockchain Foundation. So I'm interested in blockchain. I'm interested in cybersecurity within the space of supporting DeFi, CeFi, of course, digital financial market infrastructure and education and digital custody as well.
Awesome, fantastic, and welcome back from the sunny St. Kitts. Thank you. Last but not least, from all the way from Florida, Gary. Gary, hi, Gary. Happy Friday. How are you today?
Yeah, thank you. And I wish I was in California, but I can't get out there yet. So thanks so much. And it's good to be here. It's good to see my friends. Some of them, I think I spend more time with them than my wife, actually. To be honest with you. So no, it's great to be here. And my name's Gary Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've done 16 companies, 2 unicorns. I love AI. I write a lot. I actually have 3 articles coming out. One of them is the 5 trends in AI for Forbes magazine. Another one, cybersecurity and quantum computing, that's coming out. It's really interesting for me. And another one is about my interest in unidentified aerial phenomena and working with a NASA astronaut called Are We Alone?
Wow.
So anyhow, it's just, so I love AI companies. I'm the CEO of GSD and co-founder of GSD, Get Shit Done Venture Studios. We curate AI companies from around the world using Silicon Valley support to take them out. So we are a Silicon Valley based company, and it's good to be here and to see everybody. Happy Friday.
Gary,
Yes.
did you just unofficially confirm that you have been the guy behind all those monoliths?
No, not yet.
Do you know when? Do you know when the alien overlords are coming?
No, you know something, Anuj, I got to tell you, I have a friend of mine that I actually met here in VCTV, is one of the top astronauts. He's a quantum physicist. And if you want to hear some stories about unidentified aerial phenomenon, talk to an astronaut.
We got to connect after the session, mate. We got to speak on a call.
Yeah. No, I'm deeply interested in it. So I have, deeply interested in it.
Good, great. Wow. I love the kind of discussions we are having, so that's, as Gary said.
Honey, this came out of VCTV. I met him here. To meet a PhD quantum physicist, who's doing his research project at MIT is the teleportation of quantum particles, teleportation of material, right? That's what his research is on. I mean, this guy is really, really bright. Anyhow,
I once said this on one of the sessions that we are living in a year when Star Trek is coming to reality. Forget the hoverboard. We are having a Star Trek moment. That's beam me up, Scotty.
I mean, this thing is, when you talk to astronauts about aerial phenomenon, right? Unidentified aerial phenomenon, and you hear the real deal, it's a whole lot different. It is really interesting. Because when you're in space for a year and you're in an International Space Station, you see things, it's really interesting.
Great. Fantastic. So yeah, that's the beauty about Friday. I mean, we are all chilled out today. Anush, please stay back a little bit longer.
We should
Great.
have like happy hours on Friday, Sonny. We should have one that's like happy hours where we just talk and people come in. We have questions. We can kind of like talk about all kinds of things. That would be fun.
Yeah, what a
Happy
great
hour
idea.
Friday.
Good
Yeah,
suggestion.
so that here's an idea for Emmanuel, Carol, and Maria. Set up a fireside chat. We can have a U log and then let's just all sit around. I mean,
A little
that would
Christmas
be fun,
music
right?
in the background.
I love that. I'm in.
I'm in.
I mean,
I'm
great,
in.
guys.
Come on.
Great, guys. Fantastic idea. I'm going to put that idea across to the VCTV team and see what they got to say. But that's a great idea. Why not? Happy hours. Great. We all set to the warm up for the Friday. Today we're going to talk about InsurTech. Anuj wants to talk about the technology aspect. Telly wants to talk about the business aspect. Gary obviously everything, and Anil obviously the investment aspect more. Specific to those sectors, but generally we're going to talk about investments. So I'm going to start with what happened in 2020. Let's talk about 2020, which is ending soon, guys. I'd like to start with Anuj, opening remarks for the session.
Are you trying to get me to speak for an entire hour? I mean, what didn't happen in 2020? It's the 1 year where everything happened, right?
Let's put it that way. What didn't happen in 2020?
So yeah, that's actually a better question. What didn't happen in 2020? So talking about insurance sector from the perspective of Yellow Sapphire Technologies, we have had a chance to work with multiple insurance companies globally. We've had we had a partner in Qatar. We have had a partner in Kuwait. At LATOKEN, we are of course working with insurance company in India. So my expertise working with them have given me this one sense which I would say makes insurance sector very relatable to fintech, which is that insurance company has not upgraded tech, which is so frustrating. You look at these big banks with hundreds of billions of dollars in valuation, and you see the technology that they're using, which was last upgraded in 2005. Why have they not upgraded? Why have they not digitized in the last 15 years? Working with Kuwait, late last year, the Kuwait government had announced changes into its automotive regulations. And the result, as it was announced, was massive lines outside their port authority, outside the vehicle inspection unit, because everyone wanted to make sure that they could get their insurance as quickly as possible before the effects took place. Now, one of the reasons those lines existed and people waited for hours, sometimes even 12, 16 hours, just because for one simple reason, that is, they did not have a digital insurance network. Most companies until late last year were still using paper application, were still processing the underwriting process manually. And it was frustrating when they came up to us and said, hey guys, we are trying to go digital and we need a partner to join us in this. For us to then look at the technology and says, oh my God, we have to do work in a matter of a few months. And it's just mind-boggling that had it not been for the pandemic, had it not been for the lockdown, which basically forced everyone to stay back and which basically took everyone off of public transport into private vehicles, had it not been for all those situations, I'm fairly certain that insurance tech would still have not been that big of an industry, which it has suddenly become in a matter of 12 months. Uh, Working in India, one of the reasons why insurance penetration is still in the lower 20% is primarily because I don't have a good digital product where I can go online, compare my insurance, see if I want to renew it or if I want to change my plans, make any upgrades to it, make any changes to it. That way, InsurTech has been one sector which has always lagged behind. But suddenly, with changes coming in, with of course our ADL overlords coming in soon, there's probably going to be an alien insurance. So um, I'm just waiting for the industry to catch up. Hopefully, it's going to be soon. So yeah, let's see.
Sure, Anuj, sorry. Thank you so much for those opening remarks. I mean, what didn't work in 2020? Very good start to that question. Next, I have Anil. Hi, Anil. So, how are you going to take it? How are you going to take this question? What happened in 2020, or what didn't happen in 2020? It's up to you.
So I, agree with Anuj, but I would like to add, the 2020, whatever we may say, actually have made world flat, right? In true sense, it has become flat. I'm able to transact, across continents without any problem. I don't have to travel. I don't have to look for flights. I don't have to look for hotels, and I'm able to transact, right? So I think, of course, there are.
But the thing is, Anil, this is Gary. You got to look for toilet paper.
I agree.
Oh, we are back to
I'm sorry, I had to interrupt you.
Gary, we got bidet in India, mate. India and Japan. We didn't have any issues with toilet paper. We were good.
Oh my God,
That's
it
good.
was really nice, right?
We survived that crisis.
No, you're right. You are
Sorry.
right. Jokes apart. But in true sense, world has become flat. I would have never met Gary, so fast and so soon had this thing had happened. But coming to the main question, I will speak about India first, and then I'm sure Gary and Telly will add more. See, India, if you look at, is highly underinsured country, right? If you look at on world map, India is highly underinsured, and it is also non-insured, right? So there are two factors. One, potentially, if I should get insured for X amount, I might be insured for X, half of X, right? That's one problem in industry. Secondly, I am also not insured, right? So India is going through, dual problem, and what this pandemic has made, it has made people pay through roof, and then they realize the value of, insurance product, right? And this digitization, which, if you look at India, is today much better placed in terms of connectivity and digital products. I fully synchronize with Anuj, about his comments on availability of comparison and good products. But today, with change in time, that has totally changed. Now people have access to information. Now people have options to choose from various products sitting at their home, right? So one, information; second, availability, and this digitization have actually made life easier. And as I had said earlier also, wherever there is opportunity, we as investors will, right? Whether it's insurance or toilet paper, doesn't matter. As far as demand is there, we'll just go and grab it, right? Right. so
well
so
said.
so a lot of opportunities, right? I tell all entrepreneurs, right, while we have been going through a lot of challenges, 2020 actually has offered opportunity to every individual.
Rightly said. I mean, be it whatever toilet paper, insurance, well, investor won't let go of the opportunities. Thank you so much, Anil, for that. And next, I have Telly on my Zoom lobby. Telly, over to you.
Hi, yeah. So 2020, interestingly enough, when you look at the underlying offering of insurance, you would have thought it would have dropped off. But I think insurance has proven to be resilient, and I've seen an increase in general in terms of insurance in many different areas. When you're looking at now InsurTech, I would agree with Anil in that. There has been an increase in investments in digitization and digital transformation. I hear a new, I mean, insurance to date, a lot of them are based on manual procedures and paper-based processes. Those that don't digitize are not going to survive. But also, you have newer models of insurance. So, like Anil had discussed the fact that in India there is still a low penetration in insurance. And the same can be seen also in the Caribbean, across different countries in the Caribbean as well. Um, and traditionally, I think people would have seen insurance as a necessary expense. But I think what happened for 2020, the realization that you really need to put
Yes.
something aside to protect yourself has come. So, you know, the uptake of inquiries insurance have increased, but then also there are newer opportunities now, not necessarily in the Caribbean, but in other countries where I've seen a number of insurtech startups starting to offer newer models such as microinsurance, parametric or what we call index-based insurance, which is really, I think, more streamlined and really aligns itself with technologies where you can sort of have a trigger for it. We have newer insurance products, and I've seen a couple of startups that have wrapped around this COVID travel insurance type thing. So you have countries there. So there are many opportunities along that. But again, I would have seen a lot of the, should I say, insurtech is still very nascent from the perspective that you still have a very siloed approach across the value chain and is not necessarily connected or integrated. So that level of a maturity, as we're starting to see in fintech, hasn't really occurred in the insurtech
InsurTech.
space as yet.
Yeah, I totally
But
agree on that.
yeah, but we are seeing some very interesting, startups coming out, incorporating some even traditional models like Islamic finance and insurtech. I think is the best combination in my view.
Yeah. Microinsurance is another sector. I really agree with your insights. Thank you so much. And yes, we need InsurTech to be more mature as fintech as well. Thank you. Next, I have Gary. Gary, opening remarks for the show.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here and so when we look at it, it's very interesting because the telematics, being able to have cars equipped with monitoring devices. Actually, Sonny, I really wanted to do that, except for 2 days ago, I got a really big ticket for speeding, and I'm glad my insurance company didn't know because I hired a lawyer to get rid of it for me.
We are live streaming.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, I mean, that's why you have lawyers, but we
Right.
have having cars
Why,
equipped.
why were you hurrying? So you got a speeding ticket.
I was,
I'll not ask for what product.
I I I was driving down the road and I didn't see a sign and I
Oh,
didn't realize it was a school zone and I was over the speed limit. And so I just didn't see it. So I just, anyhow, it was a speed trap actually. I saw the cop go around and pull somebody over right after me. So anyhow, but companies like Progressive have a device called a snapshot that looks at your location, your accents, your speed, et cetera. So there's our technology is really interesting on that side. On the other side, think about the challenges you have. I don't know what it's like in Singapore or India right now or St. Kitts, but it's a real pain to call up your health insurance company to try to get any information. You're on hold, you're waiting. So chatbots, being able to use chatbots and things like Geico's Kate, which is a virtual assistant, allows you to be able to communicate. Those technologies are getting better and better. And then if we look at things like drones, right, to be able to survey damage and to be able to do it quickly and effectively. So companies like Farmers Insurance use drones to look at, risk and damage assessment on a house. So it's interesting that as these technologies start to get more and more, the other thing is, and the scary part is predictive analytics.
Yeah.
When we're looking at, who's risky, what the pricing is, and then aggregating the information across social media platforms, right? And so, this person says, they're healthy, but I see that they're parasailing over canyons, and and so for life insurance, and then who's identified, who's going to be potentially be canceled, going to cancel their insurance to be able to call them and revive that relationship. Insurance fraud, triaging claims, trends that take place, just a lot of things. And as we start to go down through and do these predictions, it's going to be interesting because our life, I mean, traditionally, when you go into an insurance company, you would go into an office and sit down with an agent, and it was a very flat relationship. But now it's going to be hyper personalized for you, right? Based upon how risky you are. And in some ways, you could save a lot of money. And in some ways, it may cost you a lot more money because it's going to be personalized for you. And of course, the pandemic has offered a lot of situations because our lives has fundamentally changed. I mean, even the relationship with an insurance agent, we can't go into the insurance agent's office today with this pandemic. It's, not recommended. So what are we doing? We're doing things on Zoom. We're doing things on the phone, which was really unheard of a year ago.
Absolutely. Totally agree. I had my agent last year. She used to come home, sit in my lobby, we'll discuss, go over the paperwork, the tiny little T's and C's, and she's going to not go over them because you don't have the time for that, but you just sign by taking her words. That has changed. Okay, great.
So Sony, I still remember till last year, I used to hand over check for each of my, policies in family, right? Every, like couple of months, there's some, policy is good for renewal. This whole year, I just get one SMS and I get a payment, like I make a payment and it's done, right? Now, no face to face. Things have changed a lot.
Totally. No human interaction. I mean, I used to love her coming and having a cup of tea with me while she would be doing
lobbies and your teas and coffees, everything gone, and Gary and Anil and Anuj and Delia.
It's one big happy family.
Yay.
I think we need to have a couple of drinks, a little wine, and we're all set up. We can talk.
We need to.
Some tea and some puppets,
We need to do soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got the idea.
For the next time around, we have 15 more minutes of happy hours.
Special.
Yeah, there you go.
We are planning something. Stay tuned. It's a surprise. Great. Fantastic. 30 more minutes. I'm going to start with Anuj with investments. Basically, Anuj, you would like to focus your attention into technology aspect of insurance and how investments flowed into that. Please, over to you, Anuj.
I'm gonna share this recent news update that has come out, and it's from Airbus, which has announced that they plan to set up a zero emission jet plane within the next 5 years. They are planning to develop a hydrogen based technology that will eliminate any form of carbon emissions. Now, while that's a huge step in aviation technology, one side of things which are very deeply associated with it is insurance. It's easy to forget that when a company announces something or when any regulation changes or any industry practices change, along with it comes the insurance factor. And the status quo has been so much stagnant for the last, I would say, 15-20 years, that things have not yet evolved. There hasn't really been an innovative company that's come in to get that attention of mine. Of course, there have been a few insurance marketplace that have come up that have given the user an option to ease up their insurance buying process and then buy motor insurance or health insurance online. But like I discussed, that factor, those numbers are still in single digits in just India itself. And when you're talking about a country of 1.3 billion people, being in single digits, while that's a huge number, you're missing out on still over 1 billion people. And that's the market that is yet to be tapped. That's going to be captured after these changes are made. There's this new company by Sequoia. I just mentioned this with Gary in the last session that just got uh, that has funding from Sequoia, Preston Care, which is working on elective surgeries. Along with it, there's been this new company that just got funded, which is founded by three IIT guys who are working on creating medical reports using your diagnostic works. Now, while I am not really a fan of the business model, I do see a great value in such a business model as it grows in future, or as it's perfected in the future, because one of the key implementation of that again comes into insurance. Uh, I met this friend of mine again through VCTV, uh, who's working on a solution to solution to solve fintech, medtech, and edtech crisis. He said this one very good point to me, that all three these things are your basic pillars. So if your financial situation improves, it's going to improve your healthcare situation, and then you can focus on your education. Likewise, if education improves, it's going to improve the other two. So all three these situations being interconnected gives you that added opportunity to create a value-based operation where you are uh, you're covering the ground, you're offering a security net on one aspect of things while a user is growing, and should anything go wrong, that effort will not go in waste. And that kind of a company is yet to come through. As and when it comes in, it'll be something I would probably just nerd out hard on.
Great. Thank you, Anuj, for those insights. Thank you so much. Next, I'd like to move to Anil. I would like to know about the recent investments that you've made in the space. I mean, I remember you've been discussing about your portfolio companies. Would like to know more about why did you make that investment? What stage? And so what's the status right now?
So, so as I stated earlier, that India is one unserved and underserved, right? And hence it offers a lot of opportunity, because market is there but it's not served, and also underserved. So we came across one opportunity, the company called Finsol, which is basically financing premium for non-life insurance product, right? And we felt that it's a very interesting opportunity, because if people are underserved for want of financing, then let's solve that problem, and help increasing the market as well as right insurance product. And this is being loved by both banks and insurance company, because they are now able to upscale, right? The policy which they were selling earlier, now they are able to sell double the size, one. And secondly, banks are able to get much better secured product. So that's one company we invested. Then when I also spoke about unserved, right? Now most of the time these are all complex product, right? And if they are not dealt there and there itself, people lose interest and they may want to postpone their decision. For example, just taking pick from you, Sony, let's say your relationship manager doesn't show up, and you don't get opportunity to discuss over a cup of coffee or tea. You may forget it, right? Your
Yeah.
tendency may not be, because it's not important thing for you, though it's important, right? So we came across one company which is leveraging artificial intelligence and is underwriting health insurance policy under 1 minute, right? So you don't even have to wait for 3 days for reports to come in. If you are good enough, I will get your policy underwritten in 1 minute's time, right? So we saw huge potential in that. What more is happening? So this is second company which we invested recently, company called Fido. And what has happened, because of digitization, while they were solving the problem for insurance companies, right? Because insurance companies were losing clients, because they say, okay, I have to get this test done, I need to wait for this decision, and by that time that customer either has decided not to do, or he will go and buy it from XYG company, right? So they were solving this problem. And because of digitization, what has happened, right, that there is quite a large section which not even being targeted by insurance company, because they're too small. But imagine, as rightly told by Anuj, right, it's 1.3 billion population, right?
Yeah.
And even if you look at the quantum, it's huge, it's humongous, right? Let's imagine I'm serving 50,000 people. But if I'm doing 500 into 1000, number is equivalent, right? So
Yeah.
this company's solution is solving that problem, and that has been picked by one of the fintech company. Now
Right.
they're jointly offering, right? All of a sudden the market reach has increased multifold, right? While I was solving only problem for insurance company, now have another distribution potential. So India is actually undergoing very interesting change. And since we have a lot of opportunity, we landed up investing. In fact, I'm looking for one more, but it's too early to comment. But I see, we will get a lot of opportunity to invest both in InsurTech as well as FinTech in time to
Fintech.
come in India. Yeah, yeah.
Great.
And
Thank
some
you
of these solutions might be picked up by, other countries in the world.
as well. So startups, you just heard it right. InsurTech, FinTech, analyst investing. Thank you,
Yeah,
Anil.
I think I'm
Yes.
writing a lot of checks.
Next, you have Telly. Hi, Telly.
Okay. Okay, so on the issue of investments, I think looking at the different, should I say, the most significant ones, I would say, would be Lemonade. I think Lemonade successes, as rightly pointed out, the fact that they were kind of the first to go digital first. They focus on a very young demographic, which, by the way, always just use things online. So the pandemic never changed anything because they were already consuming. And of course, they accelerated during this year naturally. They recently did an IPO and they raised what, 319 million. So that was really successful. And this is all around chatbots and machine learning. To me personally, when I saw Lemonade coming out, they didn't necessarily, should I say, innovate to the point where it's transformative. But given that the nature of insurance has just been totally legacy based and legacy focused, and they were able to now start engaging and reaching out, they had a more customer centric approach. So that's quite interesting. I know they've started incorporating more AI and machine learning. So of course, it's pretty. I would say a predictive. They're starting to offer more predictive solutions and expanding their range. So that was memorable. What we're also seeing is more verticalization, because you might be offering an insurance, for example, Hippo offers home insurance, for home insurance, digital home insurance. But they've now started acquiring different companies that are within that vertical. So one of the companies I think they acquired is called Shelter, which offers annual wellness checkups and maintenance for homes. That's really valuable. So you're starting to see that um, digital and more traditional sort of services as they start to add value. So the offering is not just the insurance product. What When you're looking at InsurTech, along with MedTech, health tech, I think there's a lot of scope there in growth where that's concerned. You're seeing uh, new solutions that offer, and I would say streamlined solutions that leverage blockchain and other things to kind of have more streamlined offerings in that section. And then you're also starting to see the opportunity of tapping into the diagnostic space, and being able to then be a bit more predictive and offering a sort of index type insurance. So if you have a genetic marker for a particular disease, then perhaps they would use that to kind of predict your insurance product. So um, there there are quite a number of things going on in this space. Interesting. Lastly, I would say what I find most interesting is the space where they're starting to leverage digital assets and insurance together. I think that is very nimble, more streamlined, and offers the kind of opportunities that both Anuj and Anil are talking about. How do we now leverage these infrastructure solutions to reach provide microinsurance to the people that are needed and to be more inclusive. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Telly, for those insights, great insights coming out from this session today. I have Gary now. Gary, let's talk about technology, talk about investments in the insurance space.
Yeah, so some of the things that are really interesting for me to talk about, how do we get closer to the customer in this COVID time? So I talked about chatbots. I mean, I'm really interested in chatbots and the kind of uses they can have across the board from health insurance companies, because the challenge has been always to get a hold of the agents, to get a hold of the benefit consultants. So those kind of technologies that can help are interesting for me personally to invest in. Also, that we talked about telematics and any kind of advanced telematics that could do some predictions, and that's coming. I mean, it's always something that I've heard over the last 5 years, but now it's a reality. So cars are going to be equipped with, I mean, think about it. We've got onboard computers now. It wouldn't be a stretch to be able to take those computers and hook them up to your cell phone, for instance, or put a chip in them, a 5G chip, and have that be able to go right to the insurance company. So I really like that. And then being able to be charged almost insurance on a daily basis based on your driving. So right now with the pandemic, I'm storing my cars, right? I'm not driving. 3 of my 4 I'm storing. So those are the kind of things. And I really like that. I'm interested in that space. I'm interested in anything around artificial intelligence that can make the experience better. I'm interested, what's happening now is that all the data that we have on the internet can be put into an insurance company to be able to look at how risky you are as an individual. So take your LinkedIn profile, your Facebook, everything, and start to develop, profiles of you. So that's interesting. It changes the game. It's almost like a big brother approach, but it can be done. So, but I'm interested in it. And then looking at, healthcare costs, how can we reduce it? I mean, in the US, for my family, through my company, we pay almost $2,000 a month in health insurance.
Right.
I mean, it's a crazy expensive. So I don't know how normal families would ever be able to pay that kind of money. It's just unheard of. So how can we reduce those costs and keep the level of service up? And part of it is because of the liability that the doctors have to protect themselves. So I'm interested in that. How can we make it less expensive and keep the quality of service up? So that's where we are. That's where I am right now in terms of investing. And I do have a company called Zemply where I'm dealing with. I'm also interested in aging in place and how we approach that market. What kind of insurance can be used? How do we get those insurances to reimburse for technology? So working in that vein too.
Yeah, thank you, Gary, for those. I mean, I remembered, I think insurance prices are comparable to the prices in the US, I would say, in Singapore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're quite, if you're paying from your own pocket, like obviously the companies take care of your health insurance, but if you're paying from your own pocket, then it's a big amount. If you're,
well, I mean, I don't understand. The thing I don't understand, right, from my perspective. So I was in Russia about a year ago, and I had gotten something in my lungs, right? And so they thought it was a heart problem and all this. So they took me into a cardiology hospital, state-of-the-art cardiology hospital. I had 8 doctors and nurses around me, and I was really happy actually, because what they did is to get that kind of treatment in the US would be unheard of. They're not going to do, they put a camera up and they look at your heart and all this stuff. It would have taken me 6 months to get the doctor to write a prescription, and I would have gone through so much pain. In Russia, they did it right on the spot. You know what I mean? Electrocardiogram, this invasive procedure. I mean, and I thought, I'm dead. I had my credit card there. I told my wife, listen.
Gary, I know where I had to go know my heart treated.
I mean, I thought first of all, I wanted to see if I could prepay, my credit card limit's like $35,000. I thought, can I you know what I mean? I called my bank. I said, listen, put $50,000 in this one account. I got the bill. It was $800 for 2 days in the ICU.
You're
Oh
crazy.
my God, I'm going to go Moscow next.
It was $800. Seriously. And that includes the ambulance.
Let's go Moscow.
I did
Ambulance,
take
and
policy.
the doctors in it. And thank God it wasn't something that was really horrible. But, but even to get that kind of treatment, I was shocked. Right. And so
Actually,
how could it be? It's crazy how much, how expensive it is. It's just not right. And Sonny, it's going to be at a point where people cannot afford it anymore. $2,000 is $1,836 is what we pay now. My company pays, and I own the company, right? I'm the co-founder. But if my company didn't pay, that's what I would have to pay.
Exactly. That's comparable to what I obviously pay in Singapore.
But it's crazy. In another 3 years, it's going to be $2,800. How can people don't make that much money? The system's going to collapse. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. So we've got to have more efficiencies in the system. In other ways, we got to think differently about it. Why is it so much cheaper in Russia? And to be honest with you, it was a state-of-the-art hospital with German equipment. It's not, it was not like you would think. It was absolutely a cutting-edge hospital. So it's just, we've got to go down through and make this more efficient. So I'm interested in investing in I have a company, a health tech company called Zemply that deals with aging in place to keep the costs down for individuals so they can keep their family at home longer. So we're trying to not, get at it our way, but it's just, I'm interested in that. So startups that are out there.
In fact, Gary, to pick, from this point, we invested in a company which actually is trying to provide super specialty services in tier 2 tier 3 town, right, where it becomes really impossible for people to one travel, and secondly the cost of healthcare is so exorbitant that people are discouraged to go, right? And I agree with you that it makes sense, looking for opportunity which actually brings cost down and improves the health quality. So we invested in one. I'll share more detailed ones that scales up, and maybe we can exchange notes later.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm interested in those areas directly. So I co-founded that health tech company. I actually am the co-founder of it because my I went through it myself with my dad, and I'm like, this is crazy. If you don't have insurance, Sonny, if you don't have insurance and your parents need to go into a nursing home, and that nursing home costs $14,000 plus your health care, right, a month.
It's a bomb. Oh my God.
It's crazy,
You will be dead before you get cured.
Well, and I got the the doctor said to me, I went into the hospital, I went to meet with him. I said, well, how much is it? It's $14,000 a month. I said, can I pay you every month? He says, it's not how it works. He said, you have to have 5 years worth of $14,000 like an escrow so that they know they can access the funds because they want the house, they want all this stuff. I'm like, are you nuts? I said, this is crazy. Why in the world would I give you, what is it, $650,000, $700,000 and give it to you? And what if my dad passes away in another 3 months? It's nuts. I'm not giving you. I said, it's crazy. What kind of businessman would I be? And I want my dad treated better. So I took him home, and it cost me half as much money, and he lived 3 years. And I was like, this is crazy. And that's why the company Zemply, I invested in that. And she's a Stanford MBA directly to address this problem. It's a huge issue. Right? We talk about the insurance, but we got to talk about how can we get the prices down, whatever that is, whether we have specialists in India or Russia or whatever that can look at us and talk to us to help us get the diagnosis, even send medicine. What's the difference? Right? If I have some type of remote monitoring where they can actually check my blood and I don't have to be there, what's the difference?
Absolutely. Agree. Totally agree. It's the same here. I mean, yeah. Thank you so much, Gary, for sharing those. I know I've got friends in the US, and I've got Indian families where parents were visiting them and something happened and they had to come back to India because of the cost of the health
Well, I
costs.
mean, what, you know, that's going to be another thing that's going to happen. You're going to see mass migrations of people. They're going to retire and they're not going to stay in these countries. I mean, after having that incredible treatment in Russia, I mean, it's a great place to be. It's like the quality of care. Why would you want to be in a place that's going to charge you, you know, a couple $1,000s a month when you can find a place that's, you know, relatively inexpensive? The quality of care is as good or better.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gary, for sharing. Yeah, Anil, did you want to share?
No,
Share?
I'm saying I fully agree and resonate with Gary. That's would be the the life. Professionally, you will live in one country, and retirement you will enjoy in another country. It's
Yeah,
going to happen.
that's India for
Going
me,
to
maybe.
happen.
Anyways, thank you so much. So I'd like to take closing remarks from you, because we have entrepreneurs and startups asking us, where do I connect Gary with besides VCTV if I wish to connect with him? So where they can find you, and what comments about VCTV, because you've attended many sessions, like Gary has attended many sessions in 2020. I don't know if I can count them for so
I mean, I can give you an idea. Like in one day, I do 4.
Jesus.
I mean, 4 sessions a day and then 5 days a week. And I'm not only on VCTV, I got my own stuff. I do up to 20 sessions a week.
My
And
God.
so and 16 of them could be on, or 20 of them. Actually, I could be doing like today's 20, 4 today, by the way. So,
Wow.
but you know, VCTV is a special environment that gives you access to people like Anil and Telly and Anuj, yourself, that you wouldn't have. You know, it helps you develop those relationships. And guess what? If you're an investor and Anil or Telly bring a deal out and say, you might want to take a look at it, I'm interested. And also, I have deal flow too. I deal with AI, really hot AI companies. And so we share ideas. I can tell you, Sonny, I've met NASA astronauts, as I talked about. I've met some of the richest people in the world that have come onto your show. People don't realize who they are. They're one of the richest families in Germany.
Right.
Was on your show. Richard Branson's partner. The handles of that person's family office was just incredible, actually. And so but the network is critically important. And now during the time of COVID, it's hard to get access to folks face to face. So this is a great place, a great venue to do it. Anyhow, people can reach me, Gary Fowler, LinkedIn. You can get me on Twitter. I have my own shows, GST Presents and Gary's Picks, where I highlight the top startup in the world every 2 weeks. So I'd love to hear from you and looking for those cool startups.
Great, fantastic. Startups, here you go. Those who have reached out to me asking for Gary, there you go. Thank you, Gary, for that. Anil, so what's your best moments with VCTV in 2020, and where can the startups find you?
So honestly speaking, I know I decided that I'll not do any show in December, right?
Right.
And I actually told Carol also. But when your message came in, I said let's do one more, right? It's a special show. I fully agree with Gary that not only it helps you in exchange of views, but it also makes you meet good old friends, new friends, exchange of ideas. We might land up co-investing. It's a great platform, no doubt about it. And the good part is that you make it very live, right? And that's what becomes more special. What would otherwise would make Gary to wake up so early morning and come on the show? It's because we also gain something in return, right? While we share our thoughts, and I fully resonate. And while I was looking to join in Jan, I landed up doing now, right? So you can imagine, right? It's a wonderful platform, and I really enjoy being here. And of course, like Gary, I am also a LinkedIn guy, so you can find me on LinkedIn, and we can stay connected forever. Thank you.
Great, absolutely. Thank you, Anil, for joining the show today with a very short notice, and really appreciate that you were planning to drop off this month, but you joined back, and I really appreciate and thank you for that. So next time,
It's funny because it's a holiday season, and Anil's coming home for the holidays.
oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that. See, I didn't ask for that. Okay, cool, Gary. Thanks for that. Great. Telly, what's your best moments of 2020 with TV?
I think it's just meeting all the great people, like Gary said and Neil said. You don't know this. I think BCTV has done a really great job in terms of curating the speakers, and like we said, instead of we don't have time, we don't have the opportunity to travel the way we do, to go for those coffee shop meetings. So we're literally building relationships as we go on each show, and the fact that you're getting insights from different perspectives, it does actually help you better understand the space and where your colleagues are actually focused on, sharing ideas, sharing deals. It really is a fantastic platform. So I'm really happy that you guys have been very consistent, I must say. And like Gary, sometimes I'm on this show here at this time, then I'm with Kyle, who's great, you know. So it's really deep conversations, and uh, whether you're startups, investors, it's the wealth of knowledge and what you glean from shows like this actually gives you, you know, better insights to make the type of decisions and to kind of, you know, pivot, as you say,
Right.
especially in this year. So you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm a LinkedIn person. I'm on Twitter too, but then LinkedIn is easier. Reach out to me. Just let me know what you want and your interests, and also on VCTV. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So startups and entrepreneurs, you got it right. You can find them on VCTV and LinkedIn mostly. And for those speakers and investors who like to share the same space with Gary, Telly, and Anil, please reach out to me, and I'm happy to have you on another panel to share your insights, depending on the topic that you like to discuss and share with the other panelists. So yeah, it brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much, Gary. Again, happy Friday. Have a great weekend. I'm back again from Monday till Friday. So like Gary, you know, it's how to say it. What's the word for that? I'm forgetting. I can't miss an episode of VCTV, to be honest.
You're addicted.
There you go. That's a simple word. I was looking for a more glorified word, but you put it really simply. Thank you.
Enraptured.
There you go. Absolutely. So yes, so that's the whole point about VCTV. We are having a good laugh. We are sharing insights. We're making connections. Like we're jointly deciding to make an investment. Gary and Anil and Telly. So thank you so much again for joining the show. I'm going to see you next week. Till then, stay safe, stay connected, and have a great